A deep conversation between BTS members Taehyung and Jungkook was recently made public, and it didn't take long for ARMY to start commenting on the pair. Many of the comments discussed the future of Taehyung and his partner, as well as the revelation of their deep feelings. This, of course, was strongly opposed by Taekook critics. In between their practice sessions, they talked about their future and what life might be like in their old age. Other BTS members, such as Jimin, who has always been seen as a witness to their story, continued to support them and offered their best advice for their journey. Watch the continuation of this video and don't miss it. Before we start, make sure you're ready to love this moments. Welcome to V Effect. Under the night sky that was beginning to grow colder, Taehyung and Jungkook sat side by side, allowing the silence to become a bridge for memories that suddenly surfaced. Without the need for many words, their minds drifted to one fragment of their journey that had been deeply engraved in their hearts, the moment when they climbed what felt like endless stairs. An emotional vibration returned as they remembered how tightly their fingers gripped the cold iron railing along the ascent, a silent symbol of how they relied on each other through every heavy step. Memories of that episode were not merely captured images on camera, but a metaphor for the long struggle they had gone through together. Gazing into the distance, Taehyung murmured about how the iron railing had become a silent witness to their breathless gasps and the reassuring glances they exchanged amid physical exhaustion. They realized that the climb reflected the dynamics of their relationship, full of challenges, where each step represented phases of growth that matured their feelings over time. Jungkook smiled faintly, recalling how the coldness of the iron had slowly been defeated by the warmth of support they shared through each other's presence. He felt that the moment of holding onto the railing was the point where they truly understood the meaning of an unspoken commitment, a promise not to let one another fall. Yet, amid that sweet nostalgia, there was an awareness that they could not continue living in the shadow of the past they once walked through with all its romance. A reevaluation of their love story began to flow naturally, leading to a discussion about how the once blazing emotions had now transformed into something calmer, yet far deeper. They reflected that although the stairway episode was unforgettable, it was only one chapter of a long book that still needed to be rewritten with fresh ink. There was a longing to create new momentum, not merely relying on old memories as a foundation, but building a new structure more relevant to who they had become. Taehyung expressed that he felt it was time for them to release their grip on the iron railing of the past and begin stepping onto different ground with renewed courage. He wanted their story to no longer be only about surviving hardships, but about celebrating every second of happiness in a freer and more expressive way. This evaluation became a crucial moment to realign the rhythm of their hearts, which might have been distracted by the noise of the outside world. The conversation led them to an agreement that renewing their love story meant making space for change and uncertainty without excessive fear. Jungkook added that this renewal did not mean erasing what already existed, but adding brighter colors to the canvas of their relationship, which may have long been dominated by nostalgic tones. They wanted to write a narrative where every upcoming chapter became an exploration without limits of the potential love they could continue to grow. They agreed that their love must continue to evolve, like a journey that never truly reaches a finish line but always offers new scenery. This reevaluation became a kind of soul-cleansing ritual, where ego and doubt were set aside to make room for pure honesty. There was no longer a desire to simply repeat past romantic moments, but rather a longing to create new wonders that were more meaningful and mature. Under the dim lights, they promised not to let their relationship become static or merely a story about a beautiful past. They wanted the world to see that what they had was something alive, breathing, and constantly growing beyond the limits of past expectations. The episode of the stairs and the iron railing would remain preserved as a treasured heirloom in the corner of their hearts, but their main focus was now on a new path they had never stepped on before. The decision to renew their story was born from deep gratitude for everything they had achieved, yet also from a healthy ambition to become the best versions of themselves for each other. They looked at one another with eyes that sparkled once again, as if they had just discovered a new reason to fall in love with the same person all over again. There was immense relief when the burden of always having to be perfect in the past was released, replaced by readiness to embrace imperfections in this new chapter. Finally, That night closed with a new understanding that Taehyung and Jungkook's love was a creative process that would never stop being renewed. They were ready to step out of the comfort zone of nostalgia and face the future with hands no longer holding onto cold iron railings, but instead clasping each other firmly with confidence. Their love story had officially entered a phase of renewal, ready to surprise the universe with a narrative far stronger, braver, and brighter than before. Behind the curtains of the practice room, filled with the thunder of music, seriousness began to envelop the atmosphere as the long-awaited stage schedule was only days away. Taehyung and Jungkook, carrying the spirit of renewal they had just agreed upon, brought that positive energy into the midst of the other BTS members. Their focus was now precisely divided between perfecting complex choreography and ensuring that every vocal harmony aligned with the group's vision. Their togetherness with the other members created strong synergy, where laughter occasionally broke out to ease the tension during physically demanding rehearsals. Taehyung appeared extremely detail-oriented, carefully observing the transitions of every movement, ensuring that his facial expressions conveyed the message of the new narrative he was building. In another corner, Jungkook tirelessly repeated his vocal ad-libs, striving to achieve perfection that would captivate the audience. Other members, such as Namjoon and Hoseok, provided direction with full dedication, keeping the workflow effective while maintaining a sense of family. This preparation was no longer just a professional routine, but a collective statement that they were ready to shake the stage once again with full strength. During breaks, they gathered on the wooden floor of the practice room, discussing costume details and lighting arrangements that would support their performance. Taehyung and Jungkook occasionally exchanged glances, offering silent support that now felt lighter without the burden of the past. They realized that this performance was the first opportunity to showcase the results of their re-evaluation through more mature professionalism. Each member contributed valuable input, enriching the stage concept that would become a witness to a new chapter in their career journey. A healthy tension began to build as they performed their final run-through using stage equipment that closely resembled the real conditions. The sound of heavy breathing and drops of sweat falling onto the floor became clear evidence of tireless hard work to deliver the best for their fans. Jimin and Jeon often lifted spirits with small jokes, while Yoongi calmly observed every technical detail from behind the monitor desk. This unity became a solid foundation, making Taehyung and Jungkook feel secure within a family that always supported their growth. As the night grew later and the lights in the practice room were turned off one by one, they left the studio with a deep sense of satisfaction and remarkable mental readiness. The performance schedule ahead no longer felt like pressure, but rather a celebration they eagerly awaited. Taehyung and Jungkook walked out alongside the other members, carrying the belief that the upcoming stage was not merely about performing music, but about showing the world how they had grown into stronger individuals and a more solid team. Tomorrow would mark the true beginning of a new chapter, and they were ready to shine brighter than ever before. Leave your positive comments here. The best comment will be pinned as a way to honor their love. Thank you to everyone who continues to support this channel. May God reward all of your kindness. This video reflects my personal opinion and interpretation. It is made for entertainment purposes only and does not represent confirmed facts.